The late Zora Neale Hurston said in Their Eyes Were Watching God that Black women are the mules of the earth. And the mammy trope, the Jezebel trope, the ghetto ratchet trope, those are the stereotypes that people are comfortable with seeing Black women in. People are not used to seeing Black women resting, being taken care of, having the soft life. And now that we've entered into the discourse where women are saying, take your cape off, put your burdens down, you don't have to take on everything, pour into yourself, pour into other women, pour into other Black women. People are getting a little confused and a little worried because we have not taken back on that mantle of thinking that we're going to be at the front lines, taking care of things, being the body blocker or the shock absorber of all of these movements. People are a little confused and they are totally getting concerned. I came across this thread post a couple of days ago. So, this woman from a Black girl says, a lot of people need to ask themselves why Black women living in ease and luxury upsets them so much. And Imani says, exactly. It's wild how seeing Black women thriving in peace and luxury triggers so many. We deserve to live our lives unapologetically and enjoy. Let us be great. And this is so true because they're so used to Black women being that mammy trope that join the front lines, and that stereotype has persisted. That's because we haven't had the opportunity to really shape ourselves. Our the picture of us has been shaped by other people, and right now we're saying sit it out. I love the conversation that was happening underneath her post. Mrs. Dimple says the stigma of nannies, mammies, cooks, maids, and wet nurses are all society sees and wants to see in Black women. When they see Black women accomplished, educated, talented, attractive, and collecting coins, it defies racist logic. How dare someone do less with more? And I think she means more with less. Then, oh my God, don't let sis be taken care of living in comfort or lavishly and happy, that disturbs white's nervous system. If we're keeping it real, if we're keeping it 100, many brothers don't like to see it either. Seeing a Black woman living her best life signals a new day, and society hates change. Then Miss says they're triggered because Black women are only supposed to save the day for everyone else and continuously put ourselves on the back burner for others. However, in this new Black girl magic and Black girl luxury era, we've learned that our joy and or love is our golden ticket to living out our best lives for ourselves, even through adversity. And that's the thing. That's the reason why we will continue to have these conversations in the public space and social media, because we need to know and understand that we need to care for ourselves. We need to reserve energy. We need to have boundaries. We need to pour into ourselves first. And if there's any extra, you can be discerning on who you give to. Don't just give out to anybody. No more of that martyrdom situation, because that's how we get to the point where we're so unhealthy mentally, physically, and financially. It comes from giving too much of yourself that you don't even really have. Now, Red Cyborg posted this saying, just saw this in another thread, and well, it's because they want our labor. Now, I'm going to pull up this article. This is an old article. It's from October 2nd, 1918, out of Greenville, South Carolina. White women back in the day were able to rest a little bit more because they had Black women that were working in their homes. And Black women couldn't even, we didn't even have the rights to work within our own homes and for our own families, because if we did, we would be considered lazy. They found a way to put us back to work. So, like I said, this is an article out of Greenville, South Carolina, saying Negro women to be put to work. City ordinance soon to be passed requiring them to be regularly employed. Regardless of whether they want to or have to, able bodied Negro women in Greenville who are not regularly employed are to be put to work, put in jail, or heavily fined. At its special meeting yesterday afternoon, City Council discussed the situation with regard to this class of loafers at some length. So, being able to work in your home and take care of your family, if you're a Black woman, you're seen as a loafer. And it seemed that all members of the council were agreed that steps should be taken to compel them to engage in some useful occupation. It was decided that an ordinance similar to the one now in force requiring all able bodied men to work at least 5 days per week should be passed with regard to these women. Such an ordinance will be prepared and voted on at the next regular meeting of council. I do want to just highlight that that whole trope that that the traditional marriage where women stand in the home, that is not true of most women here in the United States unless you were wealthy and white. Black women in this country have always worked. Whether or not we got paid is the thing, or paid fairly is the other piece. But Black women in this country have always worked. A number of complaints have come to the members of the Council of Negro Women who are not at work and who refuse employment when it is offered to them. The result being that it is exceedingly difficult for families who need cooks and laundresses to get them. Wives of colored soldiers getting a monthly allowance from the government have a number of them declined to work on the ground that they can get along without working, according to the reports. Others have flatly refused jobs without giving any reason whatever, while still others pretend that they are employed when, as a matter of fact, they derive a living from illegitimate means. The proposed ordinance will require that all of them carry a labor identification card showing that they are regularly and usefully employed, and the labor inspectors and police will be charged with the duty of rigidly enforcing the law. This is the narrative that they are used to and comfortable with, seeing Black women work and work hard at doing the jobs that white women don't really want to do. I really need to watch this Meghan Markle Netflix special because the way the white women are jumping in the comments saying how she's just unlikable or a liar or lazy, it's just like she just seems like she's out here living her life and trying to navigate a life of a royal. Anyway, this woman named Leslie says Meghan Markle's reception as a lifestyle guru reminds me of how white people are surprised when I'm in a nice hotel or in first class, when I say I own my home, when I'm in certain stores. They not only don't expect us to be in certain spaces, but they dislike it because it disturbs their equilibrium. And I love it. And this video is like this woman saying, ah, I'm here, or something like that. Chai said that part, 100. I happily spend extra money to fly first class when I travel. I'm just petty enough to love seeing how much it pisses white folks off to have to walk past me in my first class seat to get to their economy seat. The looks on their faces when I'm staying at a Four Seasons or when the bartenders know me at the Capitol Grill. I love normalizing my beautiful black face in fancy or luxury spaces. Ah, the pettiness of it tastes so good. And I want us to get used to taking our daughters to these places, to taking ourselves to these places, and just showing up and taking up space because we deserve it. We work hard. It's just that we've been so used to giving the labors to other organizations. I mean, the church, we wake up, give money and efforts and energy and volunteer for the church. Think about how much money and how much energy we could give to ourselves if we continue to walk away from the church. And what Norma says is so true. She says so much of it is also the way the media portrays us. Even some that look like us struggle, ghetto. I'm a writer and a business owner. I refuse to make us an old tired trope. Push back at every turn, but even when they see different, it is ingrained and it's always a shock because they are used to the stereotypes and the stereotypes that have persisted even in the face of a changing way of being for us. The mammy trope, the ghetto trope, the Jezebel trope. Is like that doesn't, I mean, we are bigger than that. And those are stereotypes that were put on us. We didn't shape that. Those were put on us. Many of us are just out here living our lives, being educated, being successful, doing things for ourselves, but we have to continue to portray that ourselves. That's the only way to try to fight back against that narrative is to show ourselves living well, to be in spaces living well and showing up and taking up space. And finally, Favored and Fine says they see us thriving every day. That's the actual problem. They're not surprised, they're mad. Keep making them mad. Show up, be fresh, be happy, be vibrant. Let me know what you think about all of this. This is how I wanted to start my morning, refreshed and happy and smiling, skin just a glistening. Let me know what you think, though. Like, comment, and share.